inshallah.
سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول سألت ربي بعد رفع إلي يا محمد إن أصحاب منزلة النجوم في السماء بعض ومن بعض ومن أخذ بشيء ثم عليه خلاف فهو عندي على قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أصحابي كالنجوم فبأيهم اقتديتم.
Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Again, once a reminder, when we ever hear the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, those sitting in class, contact class, and sitting on online, please take out the time to say sallallahu alayhi wasallam properly. Even if you don't learn anything else, but at least if we get to say sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we go away from here with the recitation of the durood. Right? So he said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, سألت ربي عن اختلاف أصحابي من بعدي. I asked my Rabb with regard to the differences that will occur after my between my Sahaba after me, which is natural. While I'm here, obviously, I'm the Qutub. Everybody will come towards me, but they are not here. They will differ in matters, etc. In fact, they even differed in the life of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Once Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave them instruction and said, do not read your salah at such a place. So as they were traveling, time was coming out. So some Sahaba said, look, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said we shouldn't read salah except in this place here. And even if the time come out, we mustn't read. So the other Sahaba said, no, what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam meant, look here, if you make it till that place, you must read. But if the time come out, then you must read before. And each one practice upon his ijtihad. Each one practice upon his. Right? Each one practice upon his ijtihad. But when it came in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made tasweeb of both. He didn't say you are wrong, you are right, because each one applied their mind to the best of ability. So that shows you there is scope for differences of opinion, right? So he says, فَأَوْحَى إِلَيَّ يَا مُحَمَّدْ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. That Allah Ta'ala has revealed to me, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, إِنَّ أَصْحَابَكَ إِنْدِكَ مَنْزِلَةِ نُجُومِ. Listen, your companions, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they're not ordinary people. To me, according to me, Allah, right? إِنَّ أَصْحَابَكَ إِنْدِي, according to me, بِمَنْزِلَةِ النُّجُومِ, they are like stars in the sky, subhanallah. السماء بعضهم أقوى من بعض. If you go look on a very, very clear night, maybe not so much so when you're in the city, but when you go to the countryside, go to Drakensberg, go to where there's not so much factories, and then you look in the sky and you'll be amazed at the amount of. I know the first time when we went to Drakensberg and we looked up at the sky on a clear night, we were amazed. Where's all these stars? Where did they come from? They were always there, but only you in a place where there was a lot of light pollution. Ad-dawda'u. So you never see them. Then you see billions of stars, right? Some of them are brighter, and that brightness is in relation to what? To their close proximity. بعضهم أقوى من بعض. ولكل, but bottom line, ولكل نور. Every single one of them have a light. فمن أخذ بشيء مما هم عليه. Whoever takes, right, with that which is from with them. أخذ take something مما that which is on it, right? In اختلافهم from the differences. فهو إني على هدى despite the differences. So Ibn Umar says this, Ibn Mas'ud says this, Abdullah ibn Abbas says this. They were the main jurists of the Ummah, right? You are still on guidance. فإني فهو على هدى. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أصحابي كالنجوم. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that my companions are like the stars. فَبِأَيِّمْ اِقْتَدَيْتُمْ, whichever one, right, you follow, اهتديتم, you will be guided. Rawahu Razin, Imam Razin narrated this. I gave you a nice explanation yesterday also in Razin, that this book is available. I think next time I see it, I must buy it. And you people can see it also, Imam Razin's book. And I also told you yesterday that our Ustad at Darul Umm, Harun Abbas Umar, is marhum now, he passed away. In every khutbah, I used to say this, بِأَيِّهِمْ اِقْتَدَيْتُمْ اِهْتَدَيْتُمْ. That's why when I read it, I'm forced to remember by Ustad. May Allah Ta'ala forgive him, raise his status, reward him on our behalf. You know Harun Abbas Umar from Durban? You saw him? Ever saw him? Harun Abbas Umar from Durban. He was a Sheikh al Hadith Madrasa, Springbok Beach. You never saw him. He came first in the Wifaqul Madaris. Like in India, they have a Wifaqul Pakistan where all the Darul Ulooms that are affiliated to Wifaqul Madaris, they have a joint exam, whatever, joint exam. So you got like a couple of thousands of people writing the same Dora Hadith exam. He came first in the whole country. So maybe like out of 20, 30,000 people, he came first in the Dora Hadith. Anyway, coming back to the sabak. An ikhtilafi ashabi. Nabi Sallallahu was concerned, like how, sometimes you, just to put this in perspective, you maybe as a parent, you got a business, for example, right? Or maybe even on a smaller level, the house, as long as you are there, is any decisions that need to be made, everybody will come to you and make the decisions because you're the induna there, right? You are the chief there. But you worry now the day you're not there, the others don't respect each other like how they respect you. So how are they going to make the decisions? How are they going to come to an agreement? How are they going to come to a compromise, etc.? So this is a thought that plagued Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ask Allah Ta'ala, so what is going to happen now? Like, I'm worried about it. So Allah Ta'ala respond, look, you don't have to worry. Your Sahaba that have been prepared under your guidance, you have made a tarbiyat. Yes, they're all not the same, obviously. All students can't be the same. Different people have different capacities. Different persons have different strong points. Different people have different strong weak points. But bottom line is, since they've come under your tutorship, each one in his own right is a guiding star. So even if he differs from somebody else, if somebody chooses to follow him, that's fine, right? But just on a more secondary level now, this doesn't mean if you are Hanafi madhab and you say, okay, Ibn Umar say, and the Hanafi madhab has chosen, for example, Ibn Mas'ud's view on a matter. Say, oh, but this is also an opinion of Hazrat Umar. He's also فَبِأَيِّمْ اِقْتَدَيْتُمْ اِهْتَدَيْتُمْ. He's also a guiding star. You can also follow him. Now you are from your madhab to that madhab. We don't dispute that he's correct. We don't dispute that Ibn Umar is correct. He's correct. Nabi Sallallahu is correct. But what we say that is going to result in what in Urdu they call nafs prasti. What's nafs prasti? Nafs prasti means it's going to result you following your nafs. So every time in your mazhab you find something which is not palatable, what you going to do? You're going to say, oh, that like Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri, not Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri was a great scholar. He's from Andalus. He wrote the book of Al-Muhalla. In his kitab, he say when you go see a girl for marital purpose, you can see her ties and everything. So you say, now you're going to see a girl. You say, today I'm a Zahiri. I'm going to go see the girl today. Today I want to be a Zahiri. I'm not a Hanafi today. I'm a Zahiri today. I want to see the girl's ties today. Right? So what's going to happen? Now, you the next day you started bleeding and you say, oh, okay, today I'm a Shafi man. I'm going to read my namaz. Next day the girl says, I'm a Maliki today. I'm going to read my Quran in Haiz. So what are you doing now? You are not following the Shariat. You are following your desires. They call this in English tatabbu or rukhas. Tatabbu means to seek, and rukhsat means concession. Rukhas is a plural. Tatabbu rukhas. People who do that generally, they make tatabbu or rukhas. That is the first step in the road of deviancy. when you unshackle yourself from your madhab, and you feel you can choose what is correct from all the other madhab, that is your first step in deviancy. That is why our ulama explain to us, they tell us, if you look at all the leaders of the deviant sects, whether it is the Qadianis or the Salafis or whatever, right? Go back and study the history. The first step is what happened. They 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 abandoned the madhahib. So they thought they can go it alone, they can do free thinking. And once they done free thinking, then they went from anything to from one thing to another thing to another thing. That is why Shah Muhaddis Dehlvi, he was a very, very great alim. He was, you can say, he had the ability to make ijtihad himself. You know what ijtihad means? He didn't have to follow a mazhab. He could take from the Quran and hadith himself. He was such a great alim. So he said he had three inclinations. One is he wanted to abandon the madhahib and like do his own thing. Then the other one, he had inclination to believe as Ali radiallahu ta'ala who was more virtuous than as Abu Bakr. And there was a third one, can't remember what is the third one, but he had his three inclinations. But then he said he seen in a dream, Nabi Sallallahu said, no, don't do this. Don't break away from the Jamaat. The Jamaat, the standard procedure in the Ummah is that you must follow one of the four mazhabs. Stick with one of the four mazhabs. And also don't believe that Hazrat Ali is more virtuous than Hazrat Abu Bakr. The Ummah has accepted Hazrat Abu Bakr as the most virtuous. Stick with that. But what I'm saying is he had the capacity, he had the ability. Not like me and you, if we say, oh, we don't want to follow the madhab, we want to follow the hadith. We can't even read the hadith properly. We can't even read the hadith properly. Forget about how many scientists you need to know. Forget about looking at all the narrators and who they are and when they were born and all that stuff. We don't even know that. We can't even actually read a hadith here. You can't even read a hadith properly. But you say, no, I'm going to follow the hadith. I don't follow the imams. Why must I follow the imams? I follow the sahih hadith. He was of that capacity where he could. But despite that, Allah in the dream, no, your safety is in what? Is in sticking to the madhab. Right? So coming back to the lesson here, that Nabi Sallallahu told him, don't worry about that. Look, each one of them, they are minara of guidance. Although maybe some are brighter than others, like that from amongst your Sahaba, some were known as jurists, some were known as hafaz, some were known as judges, some were known as good administrators, some were known as good political leaders, etc., etc. Some were known as upright, just people, etc. Yes, there was the fights that happened, but I tell you, those was based upon sincerity. And just here I say, just in the battle between Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Hazrat Muawiyah, just to understand, Hazrat Muawiyah in the daytime he used to fight on behalf of Muawiyah, and in the nighttime he used to join the camp of Hazrat Ali. No, the opposite way around. Sorry, he used to every night when the battle of Siffin was taking place, he should take his meals in nighttime in the camp of Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala. And in the daytime, he used to fight on behalf of Ali. So somebody asked him, what is this? You eating here by us, but you're fighting against us. He said, as regards to who is right, I believe Ali is right. That's why I fight with him. But with regards to the food, your people's food is more tasty. That's why I come and eat by you. You people got better food. So I eat with you because your food is better, but I fight with him because I believe he's on haq. Right? So that was the attitude with regards to them. And then also, just to understand this, that when, normally when two brothers are having it out or two close people, third parties also always want to exploit it. So it was, yeah. So there was one of the Roman generals. He sent a message to Hazrat Muawiyah and said, I see you have a problem with Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala, you're fighting with him. Just give us the word. We will send reinforcements to assist you against Hazrat Ali. Right? I told you, when Muslims are fighting, when brothers are fighting, when families are fighting, there's always opportunists and hawks. They are around. They want to also extract their pound of flesh. They want to extract their pound of flesh. So as Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala sent a message to Roman. He said, "Oh, Roman dog, this is a matter, it's a family matter. There's a family dispute. Ali is my brother. Ali is my brother. And we got a small difference of opinion. Let me tell you, if you intend to harm or in Ali in any way, then I will be the first one that I will send such an army. That when the first of the army reaches there by you, the last will still be departing from me. Because Ali is my brother. And this is an internal domestic spat. It's got nothing to do with you. All right. Okay, read the next hadith, inshallah. Now we're coming to some very interesting things, inshallah. Okay, stop there. So now I told you, remember, we're gonna narrow it down. We started first with the Arabs in general, then we discussed certain tribes of the Arabs. Now we're gonna discuss individuals. Now, just if you are sharp, you will catch on an individual basis, on a macro level, who's the first person they're discussing? As Abu Bakr. So what does it tell you in your mind already? What does that tell you in your mind? That the most virtuous person after Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as Abu Bakr, according to the Muhaddithin, that's why they brought him first. Babu Manaqib Abi Bakr, in chapter with regards to the accolades and the virtue of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. I told you Manaqib, Jama, we did discuss this before. Manqaba means that quality which makes you laudable, lovable, likable, respectable, etc., etc. Not only in the makhluk, but in the khaliq also. Remember. So, some like certain qualities, you become popular, you become famous, people look up to you. Like in the dunya, you're rich, you have a smart house, you have a smart car, but you have rotten akhlaq. You have rotten akhlaq, whatever, right? People look at you that, hey, check it, that guy's car, check it, that guy's house, check it, that guy's soccer player, whatever. But you got rotten akhlaq, right? You're not beloved to Allah Ta'ala. But manqabat refer to that which you are beloved to Allah, to the Khaliq and the Makhluk. May Allah Ta'ala make us amongst those people that we have good character, we have good etiquette, we have good morals, interact with people, etc., etc., so that we become beloved to Allah and to His Makhluk. That is a real accolade. When you are beloved to Khaliq and Makhluk. Are you with me? So in all these chapters here, we speak about manaqib, we're speaking about the qualities of those people who were beloved, right, to Allah, to the Khaliq and the Makhluk. Are you with me? So this is what we must aspire for. Allah Ta'ala says, have you got this income? وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى, and he will save him from the atqa, the most God-fearing, the one, الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ, the one who gives his wealth مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى, so that he may purify himself. So this verse here, you must just check this verse afterwards. I think it probably refers to as Abu Bakr, maybe it was revealed, or maybe one of the explanation was an accolade revealed in favor of Abu Bakr. Anyway, وقال الله تعالى محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والذين معه أشداء الكفار. So this is not particular for Abu Bakr, but it is a general one, right? That Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one who ma'ahu ashidda'u, those that are with him, they are very hard in turn al-kuffari upon the kuffar, and ruhama'u bainam, and they are very, very compassionate and merciful amongst themselves, right? Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, his full name was Abdullah. His laqab means like, you get a title, right? He said was Siddiq, true person, attesting to the truth. And so according to some narrations, we done this, although they say it's not so authentic, that when at the time of Mi'raj, when the kuffar of Makkah thought they're finally going to silence Abu Bakr, you know this person you claim is truthful. You know this person he claims he's a prophet. You know what is he claiming now? He's claiming he went to Baitul Maqdis, and he's claiming he went to the heavens in one night. Do you going to believe him? Do you believe him? What he said? If he said that, if he's indeed said that, then I believe him. So according to some explanations, when he got the title Siddiq, and then also he got the title of Atiq. Atiq means one who has been freed. So it will be Atiq min al-nar. So yes, mentioned that both these titles were given to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu by Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So kunyat means like how you say, kunya means like you attribute a person to his child, to a child. Like if your child is Muhammad, you say Abu Muhammad. If your child is Nurain, you say Abu Nurain, right? How many children you got, Yusuf? No children, not married. Not yet married. How old are you now? 22, mashallah. Inshallah, Allah give you a good wife. So, uh, Abu Bakr, that's like a kunyat, what we call. Interesting fact for you here. On the 8th ancestor, he joins up with Rasulullah. So you understand what I'm saying? So if you say Abu Bakr's fathers, so you say, let's count 8 fathers, father. And Nabi Sallallahu fathers on the 8th. That is where they link up, right? So they're the 8th grandchild. And as Abu Bakr was a Tamimi, he came from the tribe of Tamim. And as Abu Bakr was 2 years younger than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And interesting, he was 2 years younger than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He lived 2 years after Nabi passed away. In terms of tasawwuf, I'm sure you were in there in Zakaria and Azat. Tasawwuf, where they speak about you have a sheikh that guides you through your spiritual journey. There's something called a nisbat. Nisbat means where you become, you have so much love for your sheikh and you follow your sheikh so much that you start speaking like him, even ways achtari topi, everything. And you love him and you speak like him and you think like him, etc., etc. So they call it in tasawwuf terminology, they call it nisbat ittihadi. What do they call it? Nisbat ittihadi. You love your tutor, you love your sheikh so much, you start looking like him. So if you remember when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr were coming from Makkah to Medina, the Ansar were not sure who was Nabi sallallahu as Abu Bakr. Then what Abu Bakr done, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he started shading Nabi sallallahu to show that he's the man, I'm not the man. Remember? This comes in Qasas about 5. So yeah, the nisbat between Abu Bakr, the nisbat between the student and the ustad was so much that they even loved the same amount of years on this earth. They even loved the same amount of years on the earth. So I told you, so he also loved after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam passed away also at the age of, now we are 63 in Islamic years, which would be around about what? 60 Gregorian years, isn't it? Because remember, the Islamic year is shorter than the English year. Some of his physical features, as Abu Bakr was fair, he was thinnish, he had fleshy cheeks, what? Rustar pur gosh, fleshy cheeks. He had a bit of a protruding forehead. And he was an extremely soft-natured person, extremely tolerant person. And out of all the Sahaba Ikram, he's the one who accompanied Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam the most. He's got the greatest. That is why Allah Ta'ala spoke about in the Quran. ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه. Right, the two of the second of them two in the cave, right? He was, even in the life of Rasulullah, he was like the wazir, the minister of Rasulullah. And even after death, he became the successor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then when he left the Dar Fani, when Abu Bakr left the temporal abode, then he was buried at the feet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So imagine, loved with him. In fact, forget about loved with him. Mentioned here, it will come here in the sabak also, that grew up with him. What happened? They were childhood friends. Grew up with him. First person to accept the Islam, first person to accept the Nubuwwat, sacrificed every fiber in his being. He was prepared to give to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Married his daughters to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, prepared the camels for Hijrah, took part with him in every single battle, was his successor, and eventually he was buried at the feet of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How then does somebody still have the guts and the gall to say that as Abu Bakr aspired for Khilafat position and he usurped the position of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu? He was from amongst the Ashraf Quraysh. Ash means a noble persons. A noble doesn't necessarily mean to be rich. Ne? Some people, they are very, very rich, but they're not noble. Some people can be rich, but they got bad habits. They don't know how to deal with people. They don't know how to treat people. They'll keep their word. They'll go against their word. They speak very rudely. They speak very uncouthly. Yes, right? They're known for not being very honest, not fulfilling their deals, not fulfilling their promises, etc. So here, when we say ashraf, ne, it doesn't necessarily mean what? You are a rich person or you're a famous person, right? You can be rich, you can be famous, you can be, you can be popular. People can know you, people can fear you, but that doesn't mean you ashraf. Ashraf is people. They don't have to be rich, but they are people of integrity. If that man said that, then I know he said that. When we hear this, when I hear this, but I always think about the incident that for the first time I went to Saudi. So normally there, if you want to open a business or you want to buy a property, you have to buy it on a nominee, like on somebody else's name, because like how here in South Africa also, even non-Muslim before want to do, sorry, not a non-Muslim, a non-white wanted to buy land in a white man's area, you have to do business, you have to buy it on a white man's name because he's not allowed to buy. You call it on a nominee. So there was one family there, Mana Abdul Hafiz Maki, they were from Kashmir, but they came long ago, so they had rights. So I was speaking to the one guy, he's saying that if you want to buy here, you must buy on a nominee. So I said, so what these people do is, if you buy on their name, then they milk you because your property is on the. I need this, I need that, I need this money. My child is sick, you must give me this money. And you got no choice because if you don't do it, you lose your property. So I asked him, this people, like this family here, do they like the people buy say, ye log ye nahi karte, ye Shareef log hai. Ye Shareef log. These are honorable people. This Muana and his family are honorable people. They don't do all those funny things, even though they are poor people. That's what I'm saying. So that's the point that I'm trying to make is when we say he was from the Ashraf of the Quraysh, doesn't mean he was rich or he had a lot of property or he had a lot of things. Shareef, honorable means even if you got very little of the dunya, but you got integrity. Your word means something. You gave your word to somebody, you'll honor your word, right? So, as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala was from amongst the Ashraf, he was also loved among remember that famous incident that when Abu Bakr used to read Quran, it comes in Qasas part 5 also. Then the Meccans used to get annoyed, and then he must go, can't remember, but he must go read outside or something. Then one person come and said, no man, a person like Abu Bakr, how can he be not allowed to read Quran? He's an honorable person. I give him sanctuary. He can continue reading Quran here. You must just read softly, something like that. You remember some incidents like that? I think Luqman comes in Qasas part 5 also. You remember? There is an incident, something like that. If anybody knows the incident, they can help us out. So he was from amongst the Ashra, beloved to the people. He was also a master in genealogy. What is genealogy? knowing the lineage of the Arabs. He was a very eloquent person, naturally. Naturally, he would speak very eloquently. He had the gift, how we say in English, he had the gift of the gab. And here also is mentioned that even prior, he was such naturally, he was a good man, a pious soul. But even before Islam, he did not partake in parties and revelry. He did not consume alcohol. And even before Islam, he did not engage in idol worship. As I mentioned earlier, he was a bosom buddy. He was a bosom buddy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from childhood. And he was the first one who had brought Iman on the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam until the very last breath of his. He was ready to sacrifice every single thing he had. He was prepared to give everything, even his daughters and his camels and everything for the cause of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him handsomely on our behalf because of the service he done. Allah Ta'ala's nizam, but I mean, if he never, just from a, Allah Ta'ala makes a plan in whichever way, but just from a practical point of view, if he never rendered that service to Rasulullah when the needed it, Islam wouldn't grow. Islam wouldn't grow. We wouldn't be Muslim. I've just said that from a practical point of view. I mean, everything's got a practical point and it's got a hidden point of view. But from the practical point of view, we also have to appreciate. So that is why we also have to show our appreciation towards Abu Bakr. Sometimes you can read 3 pulls, you send the reward to him. فَجَزَاهُ اللَّهُ عَنَّا أَحْسَنَ الْجَزَاءِ. May Allah Ta'ala reward for what he has done for us, the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through his service of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Allah Ta'ala has blessed you with wealth, sometimes you can even make a qurbani for him, was Abu Bakr. So if Allah Ta'ala has blessed you wealth, you can even make a tawaf, you can make a umrah, because I mean, there's no doubt, there's absolutely no doubt with regards to the service that he rendered towards our deen and that we are benefiting from every day. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. We're going to switch over to tafsir. Just a bit more on that hadith and then we're going to go to the first hadith, inshallah. So now we're going to switch over to tafsir, inshallah.